I used to think I was alone in my body. For 28 years, I walked through the world believing I was one person, one soul, one self. I didn't know silence could be shared, didn't know dreams could leave behind scars, didn't know I was being watched. It started in spring, that time when everything begins to thaw, except me. The first dream was strange, but not terrifying. I saw a girl. Not just any girl. She had my face, my eyes, my birthmark. But her expression wasn't mine. She looked like someone who'd been waiting, and she was smiling. I woke up with 3 scratches on my wrist, faint, crescent-shaped, but fresh. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe I turned in my sleep. Maybe my fingernail slipped. But the next night, she came back. And the night after that, heartbeat fades. Music sharpens slightly. She started speaking in the third dream, whispering through the mirror, her voice echoing like it had traveled through a tunnel. You weren't supposed to live without me. I jolted awake, sheets soaked in sweat, thigh bruised, 5 finger-shaped marks, like someone had grabbed me while I slept. No one was in the apartment, no forced entry, no evidence, just me and the marks she left behind. I didn't tell anyone, not David, not my therapist, not even my mother. Instead, I started digging. Hospital records, online databases, birth archives. I requested my own birth certificate. It looked normal until I saw one line. Live birth, 1. Stillbirth, 1. Stillbirth. No one had ever told me, not once. I went to my mother's house. It was raining when I asked her. She was steeping chamomile tea in the kitchen. I said, "Did I have a twin?" She didn't answer at first, just held her breath and stirred the cup. Finally, she said, "You were so sick. I didn't want you to grow up with that pain." Then I told her the name. Her name was Mara. Her hand slipped. The teacup rattled. She didn't ask how I knew. She only said, in a whisper so soft I almost missed it, "No one was supposed to remember." After that, the dreams changed. Mara stopped smiling. She stood at the end of my bed, motionless, watching, eyes hollow. Sometimes she whispered to herself, repeating things I couldn't understand. Other times, she was in the mirror again, touching the glass, looking back at me. Why do you get to be real? I tried to reach for her once. My hand passed through her shoulder. It felt like touching cold water, except the cold stayed with me long after I woke. The bruises got worse. Fingerprints, thin red lines. I woke up on the kitchen floor once, my feet muddy, no memory of getting out of bed. David noticed. He started asking questions. "You're not sleeping," he said. "You're barely eating. You talk in your sleep now." I told him it was nothing. But the truth is, I couldn't sleep anymore because she was always waiting. I went to my mother's attic. The air was heavy with old insulation and forgotten things. And in the far corner, I found it, a cedar box sealed with duct tape and dust. Inside, 2 hospital bracelets, baby A, baby B, both with my mother's name. There were ultrasound images too, 2 heartbeats, 2 silhouettes. At the bottom of the box was a newspaper clipping, yellowed, folded, fragile. Infant disappearance at St. Lucian's maternity ward still unsolved. The baby, twin B, vanished 2 days after birth. No suspect, no investigation, just gone. Because no one had reported her missing, because my mother never filed a report. She believed what they told her, that Mara was dead, but she wasn't. That night, I dreamed of her again. She was crying this time. I heard voices, the beep of medical machines, distant footsteps, and someone saying, "She doesn't need to know. It's better if she doesn't." Mara reached out. Her fingers touched mine, and this time I felt it, the cold, real weight of her hand. I screamed myself awake. David found me curled up beside the fridge, trembling. "We need to get you help," he said, eyes wide with fear. "This is going too far." I wanted to tell him, wanted to say that I wasn't sick, that I wasn't imagining this, that I didn't just dream my sister, that she had been taken. She wasn't haunting me. She was calling me. To find her, to remember her, to uncover the truth. But what happens when the truth doesn't want to be found? What if your body remembers something your mind was forced to forget? And what if you weren't meant to survive alone? This was only the beginning. They told me she was dead. They told my mother she never took her first breath. They told me I was born alone. But they were wrong, because Mara was alive, and she was looking for me too. I found Brenda Lott in a care home just outside the city. She used to work at St. Lucian's maternity ward, the same hospital where I was born, the same hospital where Mara vanished. She was 92, her memory frayed like old fabric, but when I said my mother's name, she froze. "You were the miracle twin," she said. Then she leaned closer, as if someone might be listening. "The quiet one was taken." "They told us she died," Brenda said. "But I saw her, the second baby. She was breathing. I tried to speak up, but it wasn't up to me. I asked who took her. Brenda didn't answer, but the look in her eyes told me everything." In the 1990s, there were rumors, private adoption rings, hospitals quietly passing off infants as stillborn, only to sell them under sealed files, especially the fragile ones, the ones whose parents were drowning. My mother, she was one of them. She thought she was choosing peace, but what she chose was silence, and Mara had been living inside that silence ever since. A week later, a letter appeared on my table. No stamp, no signature, just a single photo. A woman walking out of a coffee shop in Seattle. Same eyes, same face, same way of holding her keys. On the back, it read, "She dreams of you too." I flew to Seattle without telling David. I didn't answer his calls. I didn't leave a note. I rented a car, parked across from the coffee shop, and waited. 2 days, watching her come and go. She ordered the same thing every morning. Black coffee, no sugar, always the corner seat by the window. Her name was Mara Cole. No siblings, sealed adoption, worked in publishing, lived alone. She looked like a woman who had spent her entire life pretending she belonged to it. On the 3rd day, I walked in. She didn't flinch when I sat across from her, didn't act surprised, like she'd known I was coming. I said, "Do you dream about someone who looks like you?" She stared at me, and then, "Your name is Ivy, isn't it?" We talked for hours, compared memories, scars, even our handwriting looked eerily similar. Everything matched. We were twins. We had always been twins. But Mara was different. She seemed calm, too calm. She told me about the gaps in her memory, nights she didn't remember, bruises that appeared on her arms, waking up in the wrong clothes, in the wrong rooms. Sometimes she said, "I think I was you." That's when I realized we weren't just dreaming about each other. We were crossing over. We visited a hypnotherapist together. During regression, Mara began to describe my life in detail, my apartment, my kitchen, David's voice, even the chipped corner on my nightstand. I just wanted to feel what it was like, she said, to be the one who got to stay. But the truth was, she had stayed, in my sleep, in my skin. That night, I dreamed of drowning, but when I opened my mouth, someone else screamed. I woke up in her apartment, wearing her clothes, her scent on my skin, her name etched on the mailbox. And when I looked in the mirror, it wasn't just my reflection anymore. It was us. I left Seattle the next morning. No note, no goodbye. Just vanished the way she once did. I drove north until the road disappeared, until my phone lost signal, until the snow covered everything that made me who I was. I'm in a cabin now, northern Michigan. No neighbors, no clocks, no mirrors. David still calls, but I don't answer, because I'm not sure I am the one who would pick up. Some nights, I sleep. Some nights, she does. And some nights, I wake up standing in front of the mirror, and she's smiling. We were never meant to be apart. One body, two lives. And now, we're just waiting our turn. The end. Subscribe to GNDR Studio for more psychological thrillers and identity mysteries.